It's time to start. My name is Christoph Delago, and I'm the director of the Erwin Schrödinger Institute. And I'd like to welcome you here to the ESI, as we call it, on this chilly morning. Cold outside, but I hope cozy inside. So I'm sure you will have a nice week here. I'd like to welcome you to this workshop on mathematical relativity about the past and the present and even the future on the special occasion of the birthday of Yvonne Choquet-Bruhat. That's a great occasion to bring us all together here. I don't want to take much time away from the workshop, but I would please allow me to say a few words about the Erwin Schrödinger Institute. Now, the ESI was founded 30 years ago in 1993. Actually, we had a very nice birthday party a couple of weeks ago here at the ESI to celebrate the foundation of the ESI in the early 90s. So originally, the ESI was founded in the aftermath of the all of the fall of the Iron Curtain and the opening of the countries in the East. So this many people actually in difficult job situations. And so the idea was to create this institute to help them to come here and a couple of months here and go back to their home institutions. Now, originally, the institute was very much focused on mathematical physics. Over the year, the scope widened, and now it includes all of mathematics and physics. When the institute was founded, it was funded independently, directly from the Ministry of Science and Education of Austria. In 2011, it became part of the University of Vienna, and since then we are part of the University of Vienna. Now, the ESI is an institute that lives from the initiative of the community. I'm very grateful to the organizers of this workshop, Eichmair and Gerhard Hüsken and Piotr Kuschel, Pedro del Real Laverne, and Jim Eisenberg for bringing us together here for this occasion. It's an effort, and there is work involved, but it's a great thing that we can have workshops here at the ESI, and I really encourage you also to think about organizing activities here at the ESI in the future. It's actually very easy. You have to think about the science. You have to think about the people you would like to have here. You write a little proposal and you submit it, and then we take care of the rest. We have a very efficient administration who helps with all the organizational issues that arise like this workshop. Have a look at the website of the ESI and maybe do something at some point. I would like to ask you a favor. The ESI is funded by the Austrian taxpayer, so we constantly need to justify where why this money is needed and show that it is spent in a meaningful way. Now, one way to do it is to point to the results of the workshops that happen here, or thematic programs, or other activities here at the Institute, in form of the papers that come out of these activities. So, if you have a paper that maybe started from discussions here, or you had a brilliant idea here at the while at the ESI, and at some point there is a paper, please, it would be nice if you mention us in the acknowledgement and also let us know about this, such that we can include the reference of the paper in our yearly reports. This is important for us because it shows that something important is going on here at the ESI. I would like to also ask you for your help in making the ESI more widely known. For instance, you can follow us on social media. We run a Twitter X account, and if you follow us, that would also help us. I would also like to invite you to watch or rewatch talks that happened here at the ESI on our YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube, search for ESI, or you can also go directly to the talks through the program of the activity on the ESI webpage. So, if you like to, if you don't remember what this particular speaker said, or if you think that this would be interesting to watch again, just go there and use this resource that we. That's basically all I wanted to say about the Erwin Schröding Institute. I hope you will have a nice meeting here with some good discussions. Maybe you also have a chance to explore the city a bit, even if it's a bit cold, but maybe you can check out the Christmas market, have some Glühwein, and generally have a good time here at the ESI. Thank you.
So a very warm welcome to all of you from me. My name is Michaeal Eichmair, along with Choquet-Bruhat, Gerhard Tüsken and Jim Eisenberg. I'm organizing this workshop, Mathematical Relativity, Past, Present and Future, in honor of Yvonne Choquet-Bruhat. Jim Eisenberg cannot be here with us today physically. He's sending his regards from the bottom of his heart, and he very much wishes that he could be here, but alas, he cannot be here physically. He will follow many of the lectures online, and he's been a huge part of bringing this workshop together. Yvonne Choquet-Bruhat. So I would like to start a short question. Would you please raise your hand if you've met Yvonne Choquet-Bruhat personally? Who of you has written a paper with Yvonne Choquet-Bruhat? Okay. Which one of you has not written a paper where they quote a paper of Yvonne Choquet-Bruhat? Has anybody written? No, never written a paper. Anyone who's never quoted I think it's and I think it is something that we can all agree on. Choquet-Bruhat are very much laid the foundation for what is today mathematical relativity is the area that all of us chose to spend their professional lives working in. So by that contribution in itself, she must be a very special person. It turns out there are, even to people like me, and I've never met, I'm special in the regard that I've never met Yvonne Choquet-Bruhat personally. I have heard so many stories about Yvonne Choquet-Bruhat that I do have an image of her that I have formed many years ago, while I was still a graduate student, about who that person might be. So it turns out that beside her scientific opus of over 240 published scientific papers, Yvonne Choquet-Bruhat has written, when she was already 92 years of age, an autobiography. And I have brought the English copy, so I don't know if you've known about this book, A Lady Mathematician in the Strange Universe, Memoirs of Yvonne Choquet-Bruhat. And yesterday, when I was starting to prepare this introduction to the workshop, I just picked up this book and started reading and forgot about everything else for a while. It's an absolutely essential, it's absolutely essential reading I claim for anyone who works in the field. And it's, coming from someone who started reading the book yesterday. Yvonne Choquet-Bruhat makes it very clear that science is a human affair, that science is also very much about relationships that we form, about mentorship, about collegiality, about needing one another, professionally, fairly, generously. So it's really deeply inspiring, and these are all values that are set to last if we want to last as a profession. So,
I make a comment here. If you have a chance to read this in French, that's it's a beauty. If you want to see beautiful French.
So English is very good.
No, it is.
Yeah, obviously superior in French. So I would like to share a few short passages with you as I'm guiding you through this welcome, this introduction to the workshop that I've picked out. So I've actually brought several textbooks authored by Yvonne Choquet-Bruhat along with this biography, and without fail they are all dedicated to her family and close collaborators. So let me read to you two short passages from the prologue of her memoir. So she's writing, I was lucky to have intelligent and cultural parents, one literary and the other scientific, who loved their children and wished to see them benefit from their own theoretical knowledge. As soon as my reason awakened, I wished to understand something of this strange universe in which we live and what we human beings do in it, myself in particular. I still see myself in my parents' bedroom asking them a question about the particular strangeness that for me was the fact that I had direct consciousness only of myself. My mother said to my father, she cultivates solipsism. To which my father responded, metaphysics makes you mad. So Yvonne Choquet-Bruhat always felt, this is apparent from her autobiography, that there were at least two hearts beating in her soul, one literary and one scientific. So very much encouraged by her mother, actually, who was a philosophy teacher, she chose to pursue a career in science, which was the pursuit of her father, who was a great French mathematician. We skip now to the end of this prologue, because I think it brings out something very characteristic of Yvonne Choquet-Bruhat's work and how she viewed herself in it. So remember, Yvonne Choquet-Bruhat in her second marriage was married to a French mathematician named Gustave Choquet. So her family name is Bruhat, in the then first marriage. Ivre Fauré Bruhat, and then married Gustave Choquet. So she is writing, among theoretical physicists, one could distinguish, as Gustave Choquet did from mathematicians, strategists and theoreticians. Strategists propose a new theory, general relativity, for example, or the existence of quarks, anticipating its verification by possible observations. Tacticians, on the other hand, critically analyze the theories proposed by strategists, deducing their consequences and foreseeing their possible experimental verification with instruments one has or might build. In physics, I'm essentially a tactician, using the Einstein equations of general relativity to prove the existence of gravitational waves that were only recently observed after about 50 years of experimental methods. And as experienced by all researchers, a discovery, even small, is always a great joy, like that of finding an unknown land. I always found my work on the local and global properties of the solutions of the Einstein equations, either in vacuum or coupled to good relativistic equations for sources, to be very exciting. In this last regard, I had to become something of a strategist, which was quite interesting as well. I was mainly motivated by the wish to better understand a particular aspect of our reality. I must confess, however, that I occasionally let myself be tempted out of sheer intellectual curiosity by some works in pure mathematics to solve a clearly posed challenging problem, even one without any apparent contact with physical reality, is always a pleasure. So I'm trying to connect these passages to a narrative through this introduction. But now I would like to pass the voice on to people who probably likely, certainly know Yvonne Choquet-Bruhat better than most. It's her two children, Genevieve and Daniel Choquet. So Daniel Choquet is following a family tradition. So he's a famous French neuroscientist, and like his mother, his father, and his paternal grandfather, a member of the Académie Française des Sciences. Genevieve Choquet is a very successful doctor in Lyon, and he'd like to share with us.
Hello, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to say hello on the behalf of our mother. I am Daniel Choquet, the son of Yvonne Choquet-Bruhat, and together with me is Geneviève Choquet, who will say a few words.
Good morning, everybody. I am sorry that we have not been able to join you. It would have been a pleasure and an honor to attend and to see again my mother friends, our mother friends, some who I know personally and who I had the pleasure to meet during workshops or seminar like this one. Our sister Michaeal Forest very sadly died in 2021, but she would join us in these greetings. She also traveled with our mother during seminars and workshops. You may remember her with bare feet, and especially you may recognize the name Forest, which was the name of our mother on the Princeps paper of 1952. Thank you for organizing this workshop to honor our mother, Yvonne Choquet-Bruhat, upon the occasion of her 100th birthday, age she has the privilege to reach at the end of December. You can see her pictures on our background. A big thanks in particular to Piotr Ruschel, who organized the meeting. Even if our mother always seemed detached from celebrations and honors, she would have been very pleased to meet friends and colleagues, and also to have vivid exchanges about science. Unfortunately, actually, her health conditions did not allow this trip. But personally, I will visit her next weekend and give her information about the workshop. I also will be at EHES on Friday at Saclay, and will maybe see some of you there with pleasure. We wish you all a great workshop with good scientific exchanges, and give a big thank you again to you, Piotr. Goodbye to all.
Yeah, thank you, Geneviève. There is nothing to add. You said everything. Just to reiterate that our mother would certainly have been very happy to be there with you. She enjoyed so much company of scientists and friends, and but she will certainly be very happy when we will give her some news and show her this video that we recorded for her. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
So that's Genevieve and Daniel Choquet-Bruhat. Daniel and Genevieve Choquet, I'm sorry. There is another passage from her memoirs that I would like to read to you. Yvonne Choquet-Bruhat, in the early 50s, spent quite a bit of time at the Institute of Advanced Study in Princeton. And this is a period that she describes very vividly. So all the characters that she met, starting with Oppenheimer, who was then director of the institute, to John Nash, and of course Albert Einstein. And I would like to read a short passage to you about an exchange between Yvonne Choquet-Bruhat and Albert Einstein that it's written in cheek, and I'm getting a sense from reading these memoirs that this is also very typical of the author. So she's writing. Though focused on unified theory, Einstein was still interested in classical general relativity and its open mathematical problems. I showed him the small book of 1939 by Lichnerowitz, who had been her PhD advisor, Problème globaux en mécanique relativiste. In this book, Lichnerowitz constructs what he thinks to be a counterexample to the conjecture mentioned before. So the conjecture mentioned before is related to the positive mass theorem in the stability of Minkowski space. In this book, Lichnerowitz constructs what he thinks to be a counterexample to this conjecture. Einstein read the section concerning it and pointed out that the constructed spacetime did not obey the asymptotic condition of no flow from infinity of gravitational energy assumed in this conjecture. Another time, Einstein encouraged me to prove that these equations have no periodic solution. Now, Einstein himself had published a few years before a small article in some South American journal, which I had read by chance. In that paper, Einstein said to prove the existence of periodic solutions. That article contained a simple mistake, an error of sign which I had noticed. I said to Einstein with a small smile, he quickly deciphered, "But you have proven that there are periodic solutions." The great man answered with another smile, "But this article was not quite correct." And me, I noticed it. An ordinary man would probably have held a grudge towards me. On the contrary, Einstein, after this, showed me greater kindness. So with this, I would like to pass to our next online speaker. That's Emmanuel Berti, who is the president-elect of the International Society on General Relativity and Gravitation.
Good morning. I am here to record this message in my current role as the president of the International Society on General Relativity and Gravitation. I understand that you're having this conference in honor of Madame Choquet-Bruhat, so I have prepared a few slides for the few of you who don't know the details of her history as a giant in the field of general relativity and gravitation, and I will share a few slides with you right now. First of all, a few words about the society. The society was created actually in 1959 as the International Committee on General Relativity and Gravitation, and it only became the International Society on General Relativity and Gravitation in 1972. Yvonne Choquet-Bruhat was one of the very first members of the society. She joined in 1965. She has a very interesting life story. She was born on December 29 of 1923 from a philosophy professor and from a physicist who actually died in a concentration camp during World War II. During the war, she received the silver medal for physics in the French national competition, the Concours Général. And in 1943, she became first a student and later on a teaching assistant and a researcher at the École Normale Supérieure, where her advisor was André Lichnerowitz. In 1947, she got married to mathematician Léonce Furet. That's why she's known at the beginning in her papers as Yvonne Furet-Bruhat. And later, she married mathematician Gustave Choquet and changed her last name. In 1951, she moved to the United States, where she was a postdoctoral fellow at the Institute for Advanced Study in Princeton, where she was encouraged to study the dynamics of the Einstein field equations. In fact, this is work that she had already started around the late 1940s. And during her career, besides deriving fundamental results. She also published several books, including Analysis, Manifolds, and Physics, in collaboration with Cécile de Witt-Moret and Margaret Dillard-Bleik. This book also had follow-up in 1989. She published a famous monograph, General Relativity and the Einstein Equations, in 2009. And more recently, as late as 2015, she published a short book called Introduction to General Relativity, Black Holes and Cosmology. She received many awards, including the Silver Medal of the National Center for Scientific Research in France. She was the first woman to be elected a full member of the French Academy of Sciences. In 1985, she became a member of the American Academy of Arts and Sciences. She was selected as Nether Lecturer by the Association for Women in Mathematics, and she received several honors from the Légion d'honneur in France. And in 2003, she received the APS Danny Heinemann Prize for Mathematical Physics. Her contributions to general relativity are absolutely major. In fact, in 2015, when Cliff Will, who was my postdoc advisor, put together a volume to celebrate 100 years from the Einstein field equations called Milestones in General Relativity, Yvon Choquet-Bruhat's work on the initial value problem was one of those selected among these milestones, together with other absolutely crucial works that you can see listed on this slide. And there's a nice contribution by Hans Ringström that explains the value and the importance of her contributions. What about the society? Well, like I said, Yvonne was one of the very first members of the society, and she also served as president between 1980 and 1983. Before her, the president was Peter Bergman, and after her, it was Dennis Schaman. Recently, the society decided to honor her contributions through the publication of a golden oldie. These golden oldies are reprints of important papers published more than 30 years ago that are either hard to get hold of or were originally printed in a language other than English. And the contribution we selected was a republication of Existence Theorem for the Einsteinian Gravitational Field Equations in the non-analytic case. This is a very short 2-page paper that basically summarizes the more famous paper from 1952. You can find a link to both the paper and a very nice introduction by Christodoulou and Kerner if you use the QR codes down here. I don't want to take any more of your time, and wish you a great conference.
So that was Emanuele Berti, the president-elect of the International Society on General Relativity and Gravitation. I would like to read very briefly to you a footnote, if you so will, from her biography on her election into the Académie, into the French Academy of Sciences. She writes, my master and friend Jean Leray was a member of the French Académie des Sciences since 1953. He was a conscientious academician attending war meetings when he had no other unavoidable obligations. He had worked for the reform of this venerable institution, wishing for its rejuvenation through the vote of a new law for the elections. Among the newly elected members, there should now be a certain number of young personalities, that is, those less than 55 years old. Hands up, who is less than 55 years old? Yeah. Okay, good. It is true that without this rule, because of the longer life expectancy, the Academy would soon be composed only of decrepit old members. In 1976, Leray suggested to me to present my candidacy. It was the procedure at the time. Michaeal, again my postdoctoral advisor, who had told me in the past, you will be the first woman in the Academy, approved this suggestion. This required that I write a notice, i.e. a report about my scientific works. Leray told me, you will see, it is very pleasant. He was right. I took pleasure in explaining the motivations that inspired my researches and their results. I brought my report to Leray, who approved it, but said, this time I will support Jacques Louis, but you should take date, I will support you next time. The idea of candidacy to the Academy was not mine. In fact, I never looked for honors. I more appreciate affection or only sympathy from my human brothers, as said the poet Villon. However, the idea of being a candidate without the prospect of being elected deeply displeased me, and I gave up this candidacy. Jacques Louis was elected without it upsetting me, because I had for him friendly feelings and appreciation as researcher and organizer. So Yvonne Choquet-Bruhat was elected into the Academy in 1979 on the next possibility and also on the proposition of Leray, who held his office. So to make the connection with the next person contributing to this introduction, I'm going to skip ahead to the recollections of the years between 1979 and 1990. So Yvonne Choquet-Bruhat had met in the United States Demetrios Christodoulou, who, by everybody's account, was an absolutely brilliant young junior scientist. Wishing to continue our collaboration, Demetrios had me invited for some time in Munich, where he was a researcher at the Max Planck Institute in the unit on gravitation directed by Jürgen Ehlers. It was a pleasant stay with new and old friends in a modern city with old museums. My scientific life there had been busy. Demetrios was full of ideas, which required serious work to work out. Two of them led to articles published in excellent journals. The first improved the properties of weighted Sobolev spaces and allowed the extension of results that I had obtained with Alice Simon for the solution of Einsteinian constraints. Demetrios and I discussed it in Munich. I completed the result and wrote the article upon my return to France. Demetrios came on his own initiative to bring me his help and was a bit disappointed that I had not needed it. Demetrios had another original idea, to use the conformal transformation of Minkowski spacetime on a bounded domain of the Einstein cylinder used by Penrose to study asymptotic behaviors to prove global existence theorems for small initial data of solutions on Minkowski spacetime of the Yang-Mills equations, these being conformally invariant. I found this idea excellent, but I thought the merit should be left to this young researcher who was just beginning his career, and he agreed with me. And with that, I pass to you, Dimitri.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I would like to say a few words about my interaction with Madame Choquet through the years. My first meeting with Madame Choquet was in 1977 in Torino, in Italy. Actually, shortly before that, Jürgen Ehlers was the person who first recognized that I had some mathematical aptitude, and he directed me to study some books, and then he was instrumental in bringing me into contact with Madame Choquet. And so I went to Torino, where Madame Choquet was happened to have been invited there as well at the same time, and this was our first interaction. Then for the next 4 years, until 1981, when I left for the United States, with a big encouragement of Jürgen Ehlers, I spent the largest part of each year in Paris, actually being a student of Madame Choquet. I was not formally a student, but I was a student in a much more essential sense, because Madame Choquet was not only led me through the mathematical literature, recommended me what papers or books to study. But what is much more important, she is the one that introduced me into the mathematical way of thinking. She worked out problems together with me and showed me exactly how a mathematician works, how he thinks. And this was, of course, indispensable for whatever I did in later life. And so I spent I spent these 4 years, most of the time in Paris, actually. And I used to, I remember that I lived at the Cité Universitaire for many of these visits. These visits were, it took several months each. I did even write some papers with her toward the end of this period, once I had learned enough to be able to contribute to such papers. And then with her help and also with Jürgen Eller's help, she recommended me to be awarded a certain award from the Max Planck Society in Germany. This was the Otto Hahn Medal. And with this award, I could travel. The choice was to travel to the Courant Institute in New York, supported with the funds from this award. So in 1981, I left for the US. But this did not, I had several more occasions in the following years to see again Madame Choquet. One was in a memorable period was the following year, 1982, where I was I was in Paris again, having come back from America, but I was waiting for my immigrant visa to go back to the United States. But this took a very long time. So while initially I was supposed to be just visiting Paris for 1 week or so, eventually I spent it 2 months. And this was a very productive period. All the time, of course, being hosted by Madame Choquet. The next time was in 1985, and there I had also the pleasure of discussing with the great Jean Leray, who was introduced to me by Madame Choquet, of course. And then eventually I was in 1992 in Paris at her retirement conference. This was another memorable period. And in 2006, at the Banach Center in Poland, where there was a big conference which lasted quite some time. And this was in memory of Schauder and Leray and Schauder and their collaboration. And then in 2009, when I was for the month of May at the Collège de France. And then the final time was in 2015, right after these unfortunate events at Bataclan. And there we met for the last time. And this was also the occasion of her being decorated with Légion d'honneur. So throughout this period, but especially from in the beginning, formative 4 years for me, her influence on me was, I would say, instrumental in my becoming whatever what I have done afterwards. Thank you very much. That's what I have to say.
So thank you very much, Dimitri. The joys and quirks of live television, dear audience. Saying that with a lot of affection. And this also brings me to the last person to contribute to this introduction, and that is Jim Eisenberg. So if you look at the list of collaborators of Yvonne Choquet-Bruhat, so she has 12 people with James York. And then there are a number of people she has she has co-authored 8 papers with. So Christodoulou is one of these people, and another one of these people is Jim Eisenberg. So I have not, unfortunately, I've not been able to find a PDF of this book, Elsa. I would have actually liked to search the autobiography for the number of times she writes "my friends" and then a list of people, including Jim Eisenberg. And I mean, there are others too. But it is clear that Yvonne cherished her relationship with her collaborators and who it appears invariably became friends very much. So let's hear from Jim Eisenberg.
It is great to get together, some in person and others online, to celebrate and honor the 100th birthday of a giant figure in mathematical relativity, Madame Yvonne Choquet-Bruhat. Most of you are familiar with her epic work during the early 1950s, which proved that the Einstein gravitational field equations constitute a well-posed PDE system, in the sense that for initial data for this system which satisfy the Einstein constraint equation, there always exists a space-time solution of the full Einstein equations, which is compatible with this initial data. Arguably, Yvonne's work has been the launching point for serious mathematical studies since then of both cosmological and astrophysical spacetimes which satisfy Einstein's field theory of general relativity. This conference highlights all of the wonderful accomplishment which stem from this work and the exciting directions that future work is likely to develop into. Although Yvonne is primarily known for her proof of the well-posedness of the Einstein gravitational field equations, she has made numerous other very important contributions to the study of mathematical relativity. Let me mention a few of these now. First, Yvonne helped to develop the very successful conformal method for constructing and parameterizing solutions of the Einstein constraint equations. Number two, she proved the well-posedness of the Einstein gravitational field equations with several coupled matter fields, including electromagnetism, Eichmair's neutrino fields, various fluid fields, as well as the supergravity field equations. And a third important area is that Yvonne's work has significantly developed our understanding of the behavior of gravitational fields in the neighborhood of the Big Bang in cosmological solutions of Einstein's equations. These are only a few of the very important directions of Yvonne's research in mathematical and geometric analysis. Besides noting these, I would like to add a couple of comments regarding how important my collaboration and friendship with Yvonne has been over many years. I first met Yvonne in 1972 when she visited Princeton and brought about and spoke about the conformal method. I was an undergraduate then and was very intimidated by her visit. It was 10 years later when we were both in China, and I had a wonderful 3 hours to chat with her while we were walking along the shores of a lake in Wuxi. We talked about lots and lots of topics in mathematical relativity. And we began to plan lots of collaborated work, which worked very well. But during that walk, I got to learn more about the wonderful person behind all of this amazing work. Although I think I often annoyed Yvonne by my terrible grasp of the French language, over the next 30 years, we often visited each other. We worked together on several projects, and we very much enjoyed each other's company. I very much wish that I could be visiting her now. I'm not able to do that now, but I do wish Yvonne a wonderful 100th birthday.
With these very touching words from Jim Heisenberg, I would like to come an end to this introduction. In the course of the introduction, I've left what is the prologue of the memories. There's also an epilogue in this memoir of Yvonne Choquet-Bruhat. And I encourage you to have a look for yourself how Yvonne Choquet-Bruhat is looking into the future in this epilogue. Let me anticipate that she can't wait to see what's next. So I wish you all a very successful workshop in the spirit of Choquet-Bruhat as a community. With that, it's my pleasure to give you a 4-minute bathroom break. 4 minutes, remember 4 minutes, while we're setting up our first speaker, Jan Spirski. Okay, see you at 10:30.